Hi, everybody. My name is Sarah, Pearls of Wisdom and Food with Keto Under 20. And today it's a high carb day, and I can't figure out why. It's making me crazy. I'm having my usual taco salad that I put in my chronometer recipe, my custom recipe. And it includes 6 ounces of grass fed scrambled burger, 100 grams of romaine lettuce. So it sits on the bed of lettuce. And then I'm having a Sabra classic guac 90-calorie deal. And I'm having probably 50 to 60 grams of avocado. I haven't cut into it yet. And then I'm having 4 tablespoons of sour cream and 3 tablespoons of Frontera salsa with cilantro and garlic in it. And that will be my my version of the taco salad. And I'm going to have it as my one meal a day at 3 this afternoon. So today, although this will tape after it, today is my 31st anniversary in AA of continued sobriety, 31 years. So I'm excited about that. So the deal is at my meeting, I will chair. And then at the end, Greg will give me, they pass around a card and everybody signs it. And Greg will give me my medallion. So it's kind of cool. And both Greg and I keep our cards and medallions on our bathroom wall, so we see them every day, and it's a reminder of how good it feels. So today I woke up on a sad note, though. The man that did our bathroom with Greg, a nice young man, just overdosed and died yesterday. So kind of the circle of life in addiction. My first recognized addiction, of course, was food. And it was in the early 70s, and I was definitely overeating. I was in an abusive marriage where I had my 2 sons, and who are now close to 40 each. And I had, you'll hear this and you'll say, no wonder why she drank and ate. I had 8 stepchildren, and it was clearly one of the craziest times in my life. I had another very crazy time too, but yeah, I had a lot of crazy, chaotic time in my drinking days with my decisions. And so today, as I reflect on my sobriety with food and with alcohol, I think of the choices that I made that I seemed to make with my powerful, and that's a defect, self-will, run riot. And, tomorrow was always going to be the day. I know with my food, same thing with my drinking. There were periods of like binging, which really messed with my head because if you're a food binger, as opposed to just eating too much food every day, a food binger can kind of have their head tell them that it's not really a problem, that tomorrow will be okay, that I can control this because look, I had 3 days in a row where I didn't have maybe something after dinner, or I had 2 days in a row of being at a family event and I didn't eat at any of them, right? And so you tend to think, now, as I said in a previous podcast or video, that I was the sort that you might have seen me publicly as behaving with my food. I ate normal, I got a doggy bag, it all looked so good. But then I would go home after like meeting girlfriends for Mexican food or something like that, and I would look kind of like sane and normal like them. And this group that I met with all the time, I don't know why. Well, I know why I was with them, because one of them was a server where I worked as well as a teacher. So these were 5 teachers, and only one of them was kind of chubby. The rest of them were all slim, trim, nicely sized women that didn't have, and left a half a glass of wine on the table, couldn't finish their meal, didn't even want a doggy bag. Not my type of person. But anyway, I'll take your doggy bag. And so I would appear as normal, and then I would go home and reward myself with the biggest bowl of something with things on top of it. And I was a compulsive, chronic food rewarder. Food was usually the reward, but it was also the medication, and serious medication. I needed to numb out at some social events. And my disease, and I call her Ms. Slick, is so serious that it's like one bite. One bite flips the on switch. There's no bringing me back. I remember times with certain foods that I would just socially inept. Um, if I wasn't drinking, if I was drinking, I could be, the whatever. But before either the alcohol kicked in or after I got sober and food was still an issue, because food was always an issue and food will always be an issue, um, I would seek solace in binging at these social events. And, I would find myself really close to whatever the item was. So I could just kind of finish it off. Awful. And the funny part is that this is how my disease fooled me, is that when I would always, because I was so used to being a server at that time, because I did it for 35 years, is that I would like always help clear tables, clean the living room, bring all the food stuff into the kitchen so they could like wash it, put it in the dishwasher, all that kind of stuff. Now, here's the funny part. I never brought something into the kitchen and finished it off. And I know, and it was kind of like my little internal badge of valor, is that like certainly don't go into the kitchen and like stick my hand in it and finish it off, or like put my finger around something that was going to be for after dinner and have a big dollop of that on my finger and not tell anybody. I didn't do things like that. That I considered crossing whatever line I had. Of course, I just ate an entire bowl of something with a bowl of dip, right? But, this disease of food, it is insane, and it could put me behind bars. I mean, not because you're driving while bloated. Nobody ever, to the best of my years at the police department, nobody got arrested for eating too much. But and it was funny the other day, there was a woman arrested for drunk driving. Oh God, it was kind of funny. And in her pocketbook was an order of nachos. And and the packaging became loose and it was pouring all into her pocketbook items. And it's a visual that all you have to do is hear me say it and you can get the visual and just know, like, if that was my pocketbook, what would I do? But so with my food, I really have to be vigilant. So when some of you, like, I know, roll your eyes at my strictness, my discipline, my structure, others of you know exactly what I'm talking about when you're a bite away from a food disaster. And it's kind of like when I watch one of those animal safari stations on Nat Geo or something, and you see that like the lion lift his head up from the kill that he's got, and he's just got this like dazed look on his face, like he's in nirvana, and he's just covered with all of the whatever of the animal. I mean, that's basically what you would see if you saw me at one of these social events, feeling awkward and inept and eating the entire bowl of something just to numb myself. It was a great numbing thing. And so when I find myself in those situations, now, a big something to hold like smart water. And it's not making me any smarter, except that I now know to drink the water. And then also with those sort of things like buffets or cookouts or something like that, where the food is going to be laid out so you can go back as much as you want. All you can eat is that I do my plate and I do it once and I sit down and I have everything on the plate that is the entire thing I'm going to have, which is why OMAD is kind of cool. Because if you are at one of these events, say it's a cookout, and you're going to have your one meal of the day, you haven't had anything when you go there, and then you're going to have your one meal. I'm one that would pack a little glass salad bowl. So I'm always covered with that, and then I could have like a couple of small proteiny things next to it, be done with it. Even put a pat of butter on it or some olive oil or something to just make it as high fat as I possibly could, or maybe a side of sour cream or guacamole, just something to load up one meal. The plate, it goes away because I don't have my tools of like floss or brushing that I could begin to do right there that I do at home. So that's that. And I'm not slipping, I'm not going to look for a bag or saran wrap or something and slipping 4 dessert type items into that bag or the saran wrap thing and then putting it into my pocket or the back seat of the car or something like that to bring home, because that was my typical behavior. Now it's like that one plate and I finish and I'm done. I probably would go to the bathroom to do a bathroom check to see if there's like half of the dinner stuck in my front teeth, but that's about it. So that's how I handle those sort of things, because I am socially awkward with food, and so that my head becomes very, very busy. Even if I'm being abstinent, I have to I have to stay right there in that thought of like, I'm going to be abstinent. This is my one meal of the day. I haven't eaten before I've come. I don't plan on eating after. Everything that I'm going to have is right there on the plate. Period. Done. End of story. And then when I'm done, it goes away. If I'm sitting at a table that has all the stuff still there, I remove myself. And I just have to take care of Sarah in these situations. And you might have to take care of yourself if your name is Gail or Susan or Linda or Blair or Mike or Vive. You have to take care of yourself, because that's how we find ourselves in these situations where more is okay. It is socially permissible to overindulge in both food and alcohol and just kind of stand there and mindlessly eat and drink to the point where, what do you do? I'm not pregnant. Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought you were having a baby. No, I just get to these events and I numb myself with food and I try to have 4 pounds of it before I leave. That's all. So anyway, it will always be with me. It just needs to be managed. It doesn't quite go away. If some of you have the same disease as me, maybe you have names for your disease. But that's how it rolls, and I have to be careful. So I can't just be like ignorant about it or in denial about it or naive about it. It's a problem. And I like to keep my days abstinent. I like to go to bed feeling abstinent, and I love waking up the next day knowing that I was abstinent the day before. And it gives me the stamina, the hope, the courage, the whatever word you want to put in to do it again on the next day. So this has been Sarah, Pearls of Wisdom and Food, with just a little bit about how food addictions run around for me. I will see you the next time. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you here. Bye-bye for now.